Hey guys, this is Aaron. We are on video number 5 of our architectural walkthrough. We set up an image, input exterior walls, interior walls, then we put rough openings in walls. So what we're going to look at today is actually putting the doors and the windows, the components, into those openings. So that's what we're doing. We'll hop right in. So there's a couple different ways we can go about this, and really it all comes down to what you need or want out of your openings. So if all I'm really looking for is something that's decorative that tells me, yeah, there's a window there, and I don't need much more detail, that's pretty easy. I can get that in there a couple different ways. If what I'm actually looking for is something that perfectly represents a specific manufacturer's product, I can go that route too. The work I do really doesn't matter which one I want. What we're going to look at really is a couple different workflows to actually get them in. So the first one is going to be the basics. So we're going to come in here and just draw an opening. So I do have my exterior walls grouped. I don't want to go into that group. I actually want to keep this on a separate layer than where I have my geometry for the opening, because I want to be able to move this around independently of what's already here. I don't want to merge with my wall geometry. So a couple ways I can do this. We're just going to run through a couple real quick. I could, if I'm really looking for basics, create a rectangle, offset that. So what's my trim around the outside? I'm going to say I want a 2.5 inch, something like that. I could take that then, pull it out. We'll say 1/2 inch, and I can get rid of this surface right here. Or no, you know what? Better yet, let's take that surface, reverse it, so the proper side is facing out, and I could then fill that with a material from our glass and mirrors. And I like this one with little clouds on it, personally. I just think that looks nice. And at that point, in some cases, that may actually be enough. Of course, I'd want to take that then, group it, and then add that to the proper layer. That is a simple solution. And again, that's going to work. In this case, I could actually take that and I could Option, copy that over, throw that onto another opening. In some situations, that might be enough. I don't have mullions in here or anything like that, but the drawing of those separations is pretty simple. But that's the basic steps I might use. Some people would also say, well, they want a more decorative trim than that. Maybe something that looks a little bit fancier, maybe using follow me to trace the rectangle. But the geometry is the same. It's the same process of getting that basic geometry in there. So that is one option. That is the basically roll your own, draw your own, create your own door or window opening. The other option, of course, is to leverage the 3D warehouse. So I'm not going to go through and do searches and stuff like that online. So I just went and grabbed a couple doors and windows that I thought we could take a look at. So the first one is this one called Component. And I'm just going to drop it out here all by itself. And it is exactly what it says it is. It is a window. Pretty simple. So I have this in here saved. This is a nice option if I have manufacturer specific information. So if this is an exact part number of an exact size, it's great to get this, save it in your model, have it in your components, and then what you can do is you can just grab it and drop it into the appropriate opening, and I can be done. That is a nice option for these specific pieces. The issue comes in with this is if I ever have to modify this. So say I was putting this into a window that was, or an opening that was larger, if I come in here and scale, watch what's going to happen. So I scale it bigger, and look how it distorts. So this mullion used to be the same size as this one, and now it is bigger. Same thing on the sides. My sides are wider than the tops. It did that because it's basically just geometry. It's like anything else you draw in SketchUp is just geometry, so if I scale it, it can get kind of messy. I can bypass that issue by coming in here and doing things like selecting only the geometry on the side. Hold on, let me do this. Let me explode this geometry out. This is the process I would have to go through to make this work. And then I could do something like take these pieces, the vertical pieces on the right, scoot them over. Say I want it to be a foot bigger, so I could say go 6 inches this way, and then grab this side, 6 inches this way, and there we go. And that would work. That is totally an option. I would want to save this then as a different component from the one I put in before. You can see because it was a component, I resized this one, and this one resized too. So let's undo that and then make this unique. And that way I could actually come in here and resize this without fear of messing with my existing instances of that component. That's usually how I remind myself that I have components, is by making a change, looking at my model and going, ah, nuts, and then undoing and redoing, or copying and pasting in place. So, gentle reminder from Sketchup not to do that. So if you do have a component, this is kind of the workflow you'll have to go through if it's just a standard component. You can see as I'm creating these different instances, they are showing up in here in my component browser. So I do want to keep an eye on that and keep this clean as I go through there. My other option with components, of course, is a dynamic component. So I have one of those right here too. So I'm going to pull that in, and I will stand him up. All right, so there's a couple cool things about dynamic components. Thing number one is if I do that same thing I did to this window, if I just grab scale and pull it wider, see how it stretches out, but as soon as I release that, everything jumps back to the way it was. That's because that's how this particular dynamic component was created. It was made to resize with those scale handles. This means I can do something like, I'm going to grab it by this corner right here, come drop it in this opening, and I can hit scale and drag that over to here, and then drag it vertical, and I could get that is an enormous sliding window, but you get the idea. So it's real simple to do that. One of the other things that I can see in dynamic components, I'm going to pull this one back out, is some smart geometry. So if I right click and I go to dynamic component and component options, I will get this user interface specific to this window that says, what are you trying to make? So I can come in here with this one and I can actually make some changes. So right now I have a screen on here. If I would say no, I don't want that screen, to hit apply, the screen goes away. Grill, nope, let's get rid of that grill too. Apply that, boom, that's gone. This is pretty cool. So you can actually see ones like this that will redefine, is it single hung, double hung, fixed, whatever it is, will actually change on the fly as you change these properties. Pretty cool. We'll not get into creating these in this particular video because we're just talking about putting them in, but the extension warehouse is full of great examples of dynamic components. I will say this, check it out. If you download a component, any component of course, verify it's what you need. Check it out to make sure it doesn't have a bunch of extra information there. It's going to bloat your model. But once you've done that, having something like a single component like this, a single dynamic component that I can use for my whole model, is a great option. So in this case, yeah, we'll go ahead and take this and here we'll put it right into this opening. Oops, we already have one in there. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one out. Close this. And we'll stick that right in there. And then again, we can just use scale. I'll turn on my X-ray so I can see my scale handles. Pull that to this side. Pull this up to here. And there we go. Pretty quick, pretty easy, simple way to get those components in there. So that's a couple options of how you want to place your door or window components into the rough openings of your model. No one is better than another. The best way to do it is the way that works for you. Some people have their own components, their own doors and windows already created, so they use their own. Some people love using those 3D warehouse. Sometimes people draw their own. It's really up to you, whichever way works best for you. Let me know which way you like best, or if there's a different way that you use that I didn't talk about, because I'd love to hear that. I like learning from these videos too, and I learned by hearing from you guys. While you're commenting, go ahead and subscribe so you'll see the next time a video comes up. and maybe even give us a like so we know we're doing a good job. We like making these videos, but we like them a lot better when we know they're what you want to see. Thank you.